Americans are set to go to the polls in just 3 months. Nationwide, election officials say they need about 1 million poll workers to cover Election Day. They're encouraging people to sign up. Natalie Brand has a look at a new effort to reach more young people.
On a mission to recruit the next generation of poll workers, these University of Maryland students are spreading the word that getting involved has its rewards.
Being able to be part of the very fabric of our political institutions and making sure that democracy works as it's supposed to is something really powerful.
Jillian Andres Rothschild, a doctoral student of political science, worked the polls during this year's primary.
It's super nerdy, but in the training, I looked around, I was like, this is what democracy looks like.
Fellow student Leora Petter-Lipstein, who also served, was impressed by the process.
It kind of reassured me and made me realize, actually, there's a lot of thought put into securing our elections and making sure that there is a through line and you can tell what happened when.
The University of Maryland is on the list of schools nationwide using federal grant money to help enlist college students to serve as nonpartisan poll workers. A survey by the Election Assistance Commission showed only 14% of poll workers during the 2022 general election were ages 18 to 40.
I think, a lot of people, especially young people and college students, really want to get involved. They just don't know how.
That's where Ryan Carr and Hannah Breslaw come in with their campus campaign to boost awareness and engagement.
Give people the information they need to be empowered to vote, empower them to be involved.
And while it's a passion for this group of students, their goal is to reach everyone.
You don't have to be into government to want to vote or want to protect democracy.
Building a pipeline of new people to work the polls this November and beyond. Natalie Brand, CBS News, College Park, Maryland.
Poll workers do get paid, but amount and rules vary by location. After the break, what's being proposed on Capitol Hill to help protect you and your family from drunk airline feels? These